All right, we're going to call to order the Historic Preservation Commission of January 24th, 2023. It is 6 p.m. Present, we have Faye Rossi, Laura Powell, Susan Brown, and myself, Elizabeth Jones. Also present, we have city staff, Brad Callender, and city planner, Laura Wilson. Brad Callender, city planner, and Laura Wilson, code administrator. First on the agenda, we have an approval of the minutes. Do we have any changes or corrections to the minutes of December 2022?
I didn't see any, so then we need to
I wasn't here, so I don't know.
make a move they would be accepted as written.
You need a minute to look at them? I think they should.
Yeah, I did read them, but I didn't see any
Mistakes.
mistakes or what.
Do we have a motion to approve them as submitted?
I make that motion.
We have a motion made by Faye. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Laura. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. On to old business. Do we have any old business?
Did you approve the agenda?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you approve the agenda?
The agenda for today?
Yeah, you'll need to approve that first.
Let's see.
3.
Let's see. Okay, we need to approve the agenda as presented. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda for today as presented?
Yes.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve it?
I'll motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Agenda is approved. Okay. And on the agenda today, we have one item of old business from December 2022. Let's see. 1251 South Madison Avenue. If you'd like to go ahead and approach.
Yes, my name is Rob Goodis. I am one of the principal partners of Arnold Properties and the related companies that are associated with Arnold Properties, many, many different LLCs and LPs. Don't have to get into all of that, but I'm also Mr. Harry Arnold's son-in-law. I've been married to him and his family, and I'm married to the middle daughter, Sarah. We're petitioning for a demolition permit for 1251 South Madison. We have submitted to Ms. Laura what we call a Phase 1 and Phase 2 estimate of what it would take just to get to what I would call Phase 1 and Phase 2, which is something of more than halfway approach to getting it occupied for full occupancy for a final CO. That tab, which is really just an estimate, is currently in your hands. You'll see it somewhere in the between $150,000 and $160,000 range, and that's just to get to, like I said, Stage 2 platform. Stage 3 and 4 is a much more intensive effort where there's more interior work as well as finishing up exterior. It's our feeling that that house has been sitting in, I venture to guess, and I hate to use the word guess, but it feels to me as though that is right on the border of the Historical Society where your jurisdiction hits. And for us, our goal, from a business point of view, it doesn't serve our purposes to renovate it. It just doesn't. It's a cost factor that is just way beyond our normal scope. And it's our intention to demo it, to have demolition to it, and not do anything with that piece of land at this time. There's no alternative motive to do developing or ask for a variant for purposes of any more development to it. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions or any comments.
Hey, I have a question,
Yes, ma'am.
because I went by several times, but today I went by and the electrician was there. And I sort of got the idea from him that you weren't tearing down the whole house,
No,
just were tearing down that porch.
no, those folks work as
I
help.
don't understand you, talk to here in there.
Those folks they work for me as contractors or full-time
Yeah, right.
employees. There are some items that we need out of that house before we would ever do demolition.
Okay, but there's nothing in here that says you're tearing down the whole house. All I see was you're tearing down the porch. Maybe I didn't read it correctly, but I don't see anywhere where anything else is torn out but
It
the
said the
porch.
porch and the laundry. I presume that was this back section.
Yeah.
Well, not meaning for any confusion, but I'm here to state that our intent is to, if approved, our intent is to have full demolition.
I understand your intent, and I want to say that when considering a demolition, we, as the HPC, we review section 54-173 and 54-174B of the city ordinance. Section 54-173B states, "The Historic Preservation Commission shall not grant a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition or relocation without reviewing at the same time the plans for the historic property." So you're saying at this time you do not have plans for the historic property?
I have no plans for anything other than to leave it as a green space after it's,
We would need to see the plans for the historic property, and it would need to fall into, whatever is, we would need to know what is going there, and it would need to fall into place with the rest of the historic district. And a decision by, section 54-174B states that a decision by the Historic Preservation Commission approving or denying a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of buildings, structures, sites, or objects shall be guided by whether there are definite plans for the use of the property if the proposed demolition is carried out, and what the effect of those plans on the character of the surrounding area would be. So we would need to know what would happen to that property.
I believe I've stated it, that there is no intent for any development on that property.
But we need that in writing.
Okay.
And what's the year term of that, Laura? If they're not going to develop it this year, but what if they decided to do it next year? How long is that to be in effect?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
They could say they're not going to develop it this year, but then next year they come along and they.
I think we're mixing the word development with an actual development, like more than one house and whatnot.
I think we need more concrete plans. I mean, I think if you're going to leave it as a green space, we would need plans stating that it is a green space in a historic area to that purpose, that it is actually a green space and it's meant purposely to be a green space.
And then you'd have to come back before us to change it.
If it changes from a green space to something else, we would need to approve that.
Yep.
So I think we would need to see something showing that it is in fact, it would be a green space.
I mean, I have to ask the HPC if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, but if the, what would you expect the green space plan to show? I mean, he has a plat. It would just, it'd be an unimproved lot. So, I mean, you'd need to define what he needs to submit. I'm just, from someone who deals with a lot of development inside your city, a plan that has nothing on it.
Well, Laura, I mean,
Letter.
I
Well,
think,
right now, he has stated on the record, to supplement what you're saying, he is on the record as saying that he only wants to do it as green space. These will be reflected in the minutes. If that helps assure your concern, Ms. Fay.
I don't know, from my understanding, it has to reflect what is in the historic district. So it would need to match the rest of the historic district. If there's any trees, if there's anything else on the property, that needs to be left. It really does, it would need to be a green space. It couldn't just be a bare space. What's your take on this, Laura?
You're talking about once the demolition has occurred
Right.
and there's not like some, a couple of bricks laying out there and nonsense laying there on the ground. I hear you there on that.
A pile of rubble.
Right, exactly, no pile of rubble. And it may be that you condition the demolition on that regard, is that the site be repaired to a green space, so this commission decide, I'm sorry, I didn't mean. you
Go
can-
ahead.
If you decided to allow the demolition, then you probably can condition the demolition based upon leaving the site in some type of manner like a green space. So that way there's a condition that staff and city holds him to.
Right,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
are you suggesting like that X number of trees be left on the lot so it's not
No.
cut? No?
No,
Okay.
well, I mean, I don't imagine the demolition goes beyond the structure itself. Could the applicant could clarify this?
It's not my intent to leave any building materials, bricks, wood, glass, metal, wiring. I'm trying to think of everything that I could imagine. I've had experience demoliting homes and houses before, so that's not my intent. If your intent is to try to protect something so it's not a pile of rubble, where it's sitting at 24 or 30 feet high and it's just nothing but brick and wood, all in a big mess, mountain mess, it's not my intent, and I'm stating that on the record.
Do we have a date on when this house was constructed?
I think,
1910.
I was thinking it's on that Q Public document that I
I've
sent.
got that pulled up. So according to the tax assessor's records, it says 1910.
And according to our handbook, it's one of the few Victorian cottages that remain in that district.
It says it predates the mill.
Right, it has East Lake trim that is gorgeous.
I'm not sure.
They thought about getting a tax credit and using it as a building that generates income?
That wasn't my intent with it, to do a tax credit, that was not my intent.
When was the last time someone lived there?
Approximately 7, 8 years ago.
So it's just been sitting for that long?
Would you want to see it? Like, can we do a site visit?
It's very reminiscent of the greenhouse on,
I think maybe we should do a
Yes.
site, I think I would feel better about it if we do a site
Yes.
visit.
and I'm not sure, but the roof appears to be tin shingled, and there's only one other structure remaining in town, the corner of Broad Street and Bowl Springs Avenue with that roof.
Is there a way we could arrange a site visit so we could see the condition?
You're more than welcome to go in there with us. I'm not going to call it the safest place for folks to be walking in and around there.
Understood?
Yeah, I did it today and I didn't have any problem.
Okay.
Oh, you had no problem in the back end of the house?
Well, I just looked at the back
Okay.
and I didn't walk back in there.
I generally don't like to do that.
Right.
But if that is a condition of trying to move forward in an effort to be cooperative, I will do what I can do to try to help you.
It's a real important house, and we don't take this lightly. So we want to, investigate as much as we can, and in a way we can look at it to try to make sure we've covered all the bases.
Does anybody else have any questions? Would y'all like to have a site visit? Would that be okay with you?
Be fine.
Do we have a motion to table this until we get a site visit?
So move.
Okay,
Yeah.
We need to table it to a specific date.
okay. Until, can we arrange a site visit within this next month and then be back on, yeah, let's see, our next meeting is,
February 28th.
okay, February 28th. Would that work for you?
I have a conflict that I'm going to be out of the country for 2 weeks, starting on February 28th, but certainly we can get you in there way before that.
Okay. Laura, we could even, I mean, if y'all are not opposed, we could even go and see it, and, I mean, if he's gonna be out of the country, I mean, could we let him know our decision remotely, or would that be
Or I can have
there
another
a-
representative.
a representative? That would work best.
Are you saying the next, your next meeting like this is February 28th
Correct.
at 6?
Yes.
Love to take you all to Israel with me, but that's where. That's fine. So I can make sure somebody can represent us.
Okay, that would be perfect. Okay.
Who will help us set an appointment to go do the look?
We can talk about, well, we can set it up right now if you'd like.
Or,
Any day other than a Monday or Friday is best for us.
I will coordinate that with you, Rob, and you send me some dates, and then we'll get it together.
Sounds good. Perfect.
Yeah, that's good.
Do we have we had a motion from you?
Yes.
Can we restate the motion, please?
Do we have a motion to table this until February 28th at 6
With a site visit.
with a site visit?
Yes, yes. I so move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Laura. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. We will see you on the 28th, or not you, but with one of your representatives on
Well-
the 28th.
You'll see me before then
Oh, yeah.
to do the site.
At the site.
Am I right?
That's perfect.
Okay, I'll be the one, since I'm here, I want to make sure I'm the one that takes whoever is willing to go.
Okay,
Would it
perfect.
be one and all, or just whoever can go?
I'll be there.
And I'll be there,
I'll try to be there.
Okay, okay.
and probably Jane, you're
Yeah,
working
Jane,
Would this be during, I'm just trying to get a flavor for a timing. Is this something that you have to do after 5 o'clock, because the
No,
folks
that's
have
after dark.
jobs?
I'm flexible. I can do it during the day.
I'm working around doctor's appointments, so it won't be after 5 o'clock.
Okay, I just wanted to try to go, because there is no utilities on,
Yes,
and the code department will not let me put utilities on because of the dilapidation
I
conditions.
completely understand. We'll make it work.
Yeah, and I'll make sure we have some kind of lights so you can see around. But I'll get with, we'll get together.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
thank you,
Thank you.
That's it. Good.
thank you.
All right, let's see.
Okay, new business?
Let's see, do we have any other business?
Do we consider Wayne Street new business?
I don't think we can add any other.
There's no application.
But don't we need to, contact them for them to come before us?
I mean, I can't say that we've had contact. I mean, I spoke to the owner, and she's aware that she's turning an application in, so awareness has been made.
Are they aware they may have to redo the whole Ballast?
I didn't know the particulars of the details, so all I told them, they just described they replaced exactly what was there, and I've taken them on their word. I didn't see anything, I haven't investigated a thing. But they are aware, and they have until January 30th to turn in an application for February, so you might very well see that application next month. If not, I mean, I would say that notice has been provided. They are very much aware that they need to be in front of.
And we definitely have something to stand on. Number one, they didn't get a permit, and number two, they did not put back what they took off. Even though they had to make it longer, it's still, the profile is not even close. Okay.
I think you guys will have an opportunity to address that when they apply.
Could I ask a question about what we just ruled on? Did he say that it would be too expensive to fix this house, to restore? Harry Arnold Properties thinks it's too.
correct.
Okay.
Well, that's, he wants it cheap, cheap, cheap.
All right,
And I really don't believe, I read through this,
Faye.
It sounded to me, when I read through it, that they were gonna fix the house up, that they were
No, but
gonna.
I hate to say this, but you've already moved on.
Oh, no, I know.
Application.
I'm just trying to get past that they thought it was too
Probably could
expensive.
adjourn the meeting
Yeah,
and have that.
do we have a motion to adjourn?
I moved to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
This concludes the HPC meeting of January 24th, 2023. We are adjourned.